Hello and welcome to the season 3 recap. We are so excited to have you with us. If this is your first time listening, this is actually a great episode to listen to because we are going to review all of the guests that we talked to this season, as well as the teaching topics that myself and Dave, got to share with listeners. And we are also going to drop a few more educational nuggets to think on, take with you through the end of the year and into 2026. If this is not your first time listening and you have been tuning in for season 3, thank you so much. We have seen an amazing jump in listenership this season, which we're so grateful for. We're so excited to reach new ears and new audiences. We really enjoy making the show. We love having these guests on and getting to learn from them. We also love sharing these topics that we speak to our clients about all the time and sharing that with our listeners at large. And we hope that it's been beneficial for you. So, either way, we're very excited to have you here. Please enjoy the season 3 recap.
Here we are. Welcome to the end of the season. It's always good to be with you all over the course of the year. I have to say, I'm encouraged. Our followership, the number of people checking out our podcast increased dramatically this season. So thank you all for listening. We're honestly humbled by just the number of people that check this out, find value in it, that say things to us or connect to it over the course of a season. And we know that we can't do it without our amazing guests or our amazing team. We've got Chris doing production and video editing, and Lowly who's doing all the management, and Hannah, obviously you do a lot to make this happen. So as always, grateful for the team pulling this off, and for the amazing guests that we had. Who did we talk to this year, Hannah? Who were some of your highlights?
Yeah, I'm gonna also second what you just said though about the team. Like, thank you so much to Chris and Lowly. Thank you for helping me make this happen. It's a team effort. Yes, the guests this season. So for those of you who maybe not haven't checked it out yet, we talked to Emily Morgan, we talked to Hillary Porta, we talked to Drake Jens, Doug Brown, Tiffany Waddell Tate, Brian Curlin, and Greg Cleary. We talked about a myriad of topics, a lot of focus on leadership, on financial health, on delegation, on are you ready to grow? How do you grow? What are your numbers that you're looking at? And who do you need in your corner to help you grow and scale? And that's just a general overview of those topics. But I will say I really appreciated all of the insight that everybody brought when it comes to how to be a good leader. And it was really cool to look at, like, leadership is it's a huge umbrella, covers so much. But it was really cool to look at it from these different lenses, like Emily's focus being delegation. Okay, how do you delegate well? Hillary's focus being like, hey, if you play in a higher tier, how do you raise yourself to that tier? That was super cool.
I
Um,
really,
yeah,
I really liked that she said if she's the accountability queen, right? Like if you're not doing what you said you were going to do, she'll literally hop in a plane and fly to your house and make sure that you're doing it. I'm like,
yeah,
honestly, we all need somebody like that in our lives just to make sure we're following through on the things we said we were going to do.
yeah, absolutely. And that's the good coach. I mean, that's the good, guide as well. Like, we just talked to Greg Cleary from Pinnacle. Like, a good guide or a good coach is not going to let you skirt what you said you wanted or avoid the thing. Like, you got to look at the thing together and come out the other side. And there are many different tools and people to help you face whatever you might be afraid of as a leader or might be intimidated by. So yeah, I really enjoyed looking at leadership from different perspectives. And I think Drake's episode about finances, you know this, I've mentioned it many times since we've recorded it. That I feel like I learned so much in that episode.
Yeah.
There
Yeah.
was so much that he covered, but I really appreciated just, yeah, how to look at numbers. So, listeners, if you haven't checked out the episode with Drake Jens, highly recommend go back and check that one out.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the core message I took from that one is data in equals the data out. If you're not really truly tracking it well and you're trying to make strategic decisions, those two things kind of go hand in hand, right? Like, you got to have your books in order. It's got to be the right data. It's got to be the right information, and then your strategic decisions around finances just get infinitely better.
Yeah.
I think that's just an important thing to pay attention to as you're wrapping up the year and you're thinking about budgets for next year. Check that episode out. It's a great resource.
What else for you, Dave, from the guest interviews that we've done? And we'll talk about some of the teachings that we did, just the two of us as well. But
Yep.
from just the guest episodes, what lessons, nuggets, conversations stand out to you?
Yeah, honestly, I think about the one analogy that Doug gave us, sales leader, worked with lots of different sales teams. I've honestly used this several times in conversations since he said it of, most people think they're a 10. They want to be a 10. And in all truth, they're a 6. And so when they get to 7 or they get to 8, as they grow their business or as they grow their sales amount or whatever it is that they're doing, they start to sabotage things to get back to 6.
Yeah.
And we talk a lot in our work about the saboteurs, the things that we say to ourselves, the stories we tell ourselves, or how we as leaders get in our own way of developing and growing and doing what we need to do. And that analogy or that like putting that on a number scale, I thought was such a tangible, real way to articulate something that I've thought about, we've known about forever. But I really took that nugget. I've used that several times. So, and I think he's spot on. And really, then in his words, to make a truthful goal, right? We can all have our vision. Oh, we want to be $100 million company. We want to be a $20 million company. And we're currently 2 million and we want to be 20 million. It's like, okay, but what's truthful for you? Right? Like that's a 10. If that's a 10, what are you? Are you a 5? Are you a 6? Are you a 7? Is 10 million really possible? And that's truthful for you. And 20 million is quite frankly just a farce and a dream. Not that you shouldn't shoot for it, but can we be honest with ourselves? And I found that to be truth speaking, not only truthful goal, but truth speaking for all of us who are trying to take our businesses to the moon.
Yeah, absolutely. Another episode that I really appreciated that I feel like actually kind of unifies all the rest was the conversation with Tiffany. Tiffany Waddell Tate, who is also a coach for leaders. We talked about clarity. Clarity is the key to getting things done. You have to be clear as a leader, or also as a doer, as a person who reports to leadership. Like you have to find clarity in the work that you do. And I know that we as a team have tried to work on our clarity. What's our focus for this year? And then how do we clearly communicate it? And we've also developed a one pager to help with this. So, Dave, I think if you want to, I think you should introduce the clarity planner that we've been working on, because I do think it's actually kind of been informed by some of these conversations that we've had with people.
100%. It's a newer tool that we put out. You can find it if you go to the number 5fcall.com. We'll post this in the chat, /clarity. This resource is there. It's free. Download it. Absolutely check it out. It's actually something we developed just a few months ago, to your point, Hannah, in response to so much of what we were hearing from a lot of the folks that we work with. And the idea here is we talk a lot about elevating leadership, and really what we mean by that is how do we get leaders out of the weeds? How do we get them out of administrative and operations work and into that strategic leadership, big relationships, really guiding a company, to use Greg's term, to be a guide for their own company, not just how we support them. So I'm going to hold it up here. We'll have the visual as well. The reason I'm holding it up is because I have a stack of these next to my desk. And for those of you who aren't looking at there, if you want to see it on YouTube, check it out. You can see it there. For those of you who aren't watching us and are just listening, there's really 3 sections to this. And the entire idea is every week to be thinking about what's the bottleneck? How am I being the bottleneck as the leader? As we like to say, there's a reason the bottleneck is at the top of the bottle, right? Like we are often, as the CEO of this company, I am often the bottleneck, right? I'm the one that's in the way of empowering the team to do what they need to do. The second section then is leadership priorities, and the third section is delegation tracker. So I'll really quickly just talk through this. So the bottleneck identifier is really simple. It's 3 things I'm doing or deciding that only I can do. In my role as the CEO of the organization, what are the things that I have to decide? And this goes back then to what we call the core role chart, or kind of what is my core responsibility? What's the thing I am most responsible for? Spoiler alert, it is almost always strategic relationships or strategic decision making and/or big relationships. If you're the CEO, that's pretty much what it is. If you're on the leadership team, it's almost always strategic level stuff. But we often let operations and administrative stuff get in the way of our decision making. So 3 things I'm doing or deciding that only I can do. and then identifying three things I'm doing or deciding that someone else should own. I do this every Sunday night or Monday morning. Our EA Lowly, who we mentioned earlier, I've actually started sharing this sheet with her every Monday morning to say, all right, here's what this week looks like. Here are the things I'm getting off my plate. Section two is just leadership priorities. Three things I must get done. What do I need to accomplish this week in order for us to continue to move this vision forward? And three things my team must get done. So it helps me understand from a management perspective, what do I need to pay attention to for the team? What are they trying to accomplish? But again, three things. Keep it simple. If we made it 50 things or 10 things or five things, all the things you think about in your brain at 3 in the morning when you woke up, probably not prioritizing, probably not actually going to get those things done. So staying focused on what those things are. And then lastly, the tracker. And I keep saying delegation tracker. And the key here is to delegate outcomes, not tasks. And actually, I think our friend Emily, who was on this podcast, mentioned this as well. Right, really thinking about delegating outcomes, not tasks. So here's the difference. Delegating a task is, hey, can you send that email for me? Hey, can you schedule this meeting? Hey, can you fill out this document? Right, that's a one-off thing that somebody can do. Delegating an outcome is more like this. Hey, can you shortlist the top 5 candidates for the director of ops role and schedule interviews by Monday? There's a lot of things in that, but that's the outcome I want to see. I want to see 5 candidates ready to go and that it's scheduled. As the CEO, I don't need to then follow up and make sure that the emails got sent, etc. You, as the person who's probably implementing that on the team, you know what you need to do and you're empowered to do it because the outcome is clear, right? It's got a number in it. So we say, write the outcome, make sure there's a measurable number, put a deadline on it, and who's the team member that owns it. And again, it's just three things. What are the three things that I can get off my plate where I can come up with outcomes and deliver it? And if you're doing the sheet right, from the bottleneck identifier to the leadership priorities down to the I keep doing that. Delegation tracker should line up. And that's how you know you're doing it right. But it is quite simply do it every Sunday, do it every Monday morning, if whatever your time frame is, and it'll help tee you up for the week.
Absolutely. We do have that up on, yeah, we've been sharing that on our screen here if you're on YouTube with us. But then for everyone who's listening, we will have the link to the Clarity Planner in the show notes. I think you said in the chat, which we're recording this in Zoom, so I understand why you said in the
Did I
chat.
say chat? All right.
But you're good. We'll have it in the show notes. So check that out and go get that free download, and hopefully that will help you find clarity. And, it's a good thing to focus on now. We're coming to the end of the year. So people are going to be focused on the holidays, and fingers crossed, maybe you'll find some quiet time. And it'll be really important to get into a good habit of finding clarity so that when you start your new year, you're able to clearly communicate to your people. You're able to clearly identify what are the things we need to accomplish, who's doing what by when. That's going to make 2026, which is wild to say,
Wild to say. Yeah, absolutely.
2026, a great year. Practice
Yeah.
clarity now, it will help in the future. Another thing we did this season was, Dave, you and I did basically teaching topics where it was just the two of us and we talked about how to raise the floor, how to create great culture, key leadership behaviors, how to assess your business, and then strategy for what, including we wanted to talk about the ACE framework. So clarity, alignment, and execution. And I really enjoyed us being able to share with listeners these things that we talk about all the time. Because I feel like these 5 things we have brought up with most, if not all, of our clients. So it was kind of cool to sort of, yeah, open the door and share those with folks. And I know that I always enjoy talking about how to raise the floor because I think that's something that's kind of new, the language around it, that you've like developed this year, but I think that it has a lot of
Yeah.
impact. So if you haven't had a chance to listen to those episodes, go back and check those out as well.
Well, and as we wrap the season, I just again want to express gratitude for all the folks that jumped in, that shared their knowledge, shared their wisdom. I hope you got a lot out of it. And as we approach the transition of a new year, any fun holiday traditions that you love this time of year, Hannah?
Yes, many. I mean, I love just being with our family. Really, like everybody getting together, having people in the same room. It's the best thing.
Yeah.
But all the food that my mom makes, I dream about it for weeks leading up to Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Uh-huh.
And my sisters too. Both my sisters are great cooks. And then usually my dad will sing pretty much every Christmas carol that you could ever think of some point during the holiday season. So also it's just very fun to like see my dad get into Santa mode and sing the Christmas carols. How about you guys?
Yeah, we I love all those things as well. There's always, as much green bean casserole as I can possibly handle. Uh
Yes.
for sure. Sweet potatoes, all the good stuff. From a food perspective, we get to travel back to the homeland, to Minnesota to get to see a lot of my family this year, which I always enjoy. To your point, just being in rooms with family is great. But one of my favorite things that we do as a family is we have these little elves that we hang in our on our fireplace. And our kids have kind of aged out of it, but they still humor us, I think, at this point in time, where they're supposed to go tell those elves what they want for Christmas. And then so we have some rings with elves in them and some rings without the elves. So we hang those up basically for the month, and then they come and go, and they're always like, "Oh, the elves are here," or "Oh no, they're gone." And then the idea there is that as they're telling the elves, we get to hear what they want, and then we can give them a surprise or two. So that's a fun. I mean, that I had that when I was a kid, and that has been a however long now, 40 odd year tradition for our family. So those types of fun things that just make the holidays a little extra special.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
If there are topics or things that you'd like to share with us for season four, wow, season four, please do. We are always interested in what you want to hear about, how we can add value to your experience. Please send those our way. We'd love to hear it.
Yes, we will be back. We'll be back in the springtime with a new season, new guests. If there's someone who you would love to see on the show, send us their name. We'd love to talk to them. If there are topics you'd like us to cover, let us know. We'd love to cover them. And we're very excited to be able to continue this podcast and this conversation with folks. We really enjoy doing this and we like teaching, so it's fun to do.
Here we go.
Here we go. Thank you all for listening, season 3, and we will see you in 2026.
See you in 2026.
Thank you for joining us on Business Velocity. Today's insights are just the beginning of enhancing your business's momentum. Don't forget to subscribe on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to podcasts. You can also explore our framework at theevolveddifference.com. And remember, the time is now to take these strategies and apply your learning and achieve velocity. See you next time.